What the hell did I just watch? Why did it feel like the end of the whole TV series and not just the end of the third season? Also, why did I watch this episode 3 times already and I can't remember anything other than the last scene? Hello everybody! Welcome to another video from my series Quick Thoughts On, in which I always talk about different stories from the rich Star Trek universe. Well, I have seen the final episode of at least season 3. It was called That Hope Is You Part 2, and these are my honest opinions about it. I don't really know what to say about it. Michael is still in the action subplot, just like in the previous episode, but there is one huge difference. While in the last episode it was stupid but entertaining, in this episode it's stupid and boring. It completely breaks my immersion because of how dumb and unrealistic it is. For example, for some reason it takes place in the TARDIS and not in the Enterprise. Why do I call the TARDIS? Because it's bigger on the inside than on the outside. Basically because Michael saved Stamets and blew him, in the last episode, out of the ship. Osyraa now has to improvise, and she has decided because Book's species can communicate with animals, he will of course be able to communicate with the spores and use the spore drive to jump to the Dilithium planet, I think. You see, this is me writing 3 days after I wrote the first paragraph. I have seen the episode 2 more times since then, and I can't remember where does Osyraa want to go. When I've seen an episode 5 times and I can't remember what happened in that episode, we have a serious problem. Let's say she wants to go to the Dilithium planet, but of course Michael saves him, and they go together on a completely unrealistic action sequence. In the previous episode the action was charming, like a 1980s, 1990s action movie. In this episode the action is so stupid that I feel like I'm watching a superhero movie. And I'm not talking about X-Men or X2 or the first 2 Spider-Man movies. More like Batman and Robin, or the 2017 Justice League, or Wonder Woman 84. After a few minutes, my brain switches off and I pull my little friend out and start to play with it. And I am of course talking about my smartphone. I'll skip 99% of the stuff and let's just say it all ends with Michael fighting Osyraa in a wide room we have never seen before. They actually built a set specifically for this scene, so it must be the best scene in the episode, right? Or it has to be at least competent and memorable. Well, this is the worst video game boss fight since I found out that I have to kill John Romero's head on a stick to finish the Icon of Sin in 1994. Yes, I called it a video game boss fight because this whole episode feels like I'm watching somebody play a video game. So Osyraa picks Michael up and does something to her. Yes, something. Can anybody please explain me what happened? Because I don't have a clue. All I know is that Osyraa pushed Michael behind a wall of small CGI squares and left like this was supposed to kill her or something. Then Michael dramatically shoots her from behind like a true hero. Did the wall just eat her and spit her out because she doesn't taste good? Seriously, what the hell just happened? What was that? Anyway, Michael restores the old operating system, because I guess that was a thing which needed to be done, and all of the upgrades are undone, so they were absolutely pointless. Okay, so now it's another day, and I realized that I completely forgot a subplot. The bridge crew went to the war nacelles, I think, and they went there without oxygen, so I think they were attempting to create a huge emotional scene in which one of our heroes sacrifices himself, or in this case herself, because it's 2021, but there is one huge problem. When they were arguing who should go, the only thing I could think about was who the fuck cares and who are these people? Okay, the fat one is Tilly, and who else is there? The black fat woman is Ovo something. Ovo Shekun, maybe? Then there is the black man and the Asian man. These are truly amazing characters, aren't they? We have spent 3 seasons. 3 seasons with these people, and I kind of vaguely remember that I saw their faces on the bridge a few times. The original series was 3 seasons long. I know the names of every single person who ever appeared on the bridge. I know their personalities, I know what they like and what they hate, and I know also some backstory to most of them. But after 3 years of Discovery, the only thing I can say about the bridge crew is that I vaguely remember seeing them sometimes. And there is a brown-haired woman. Who the hell is she? The first time I have noticed her existence was in the previous episode. Is that an established character, or did they create her only for the finale? Anyway, this subplot ends with Michael saving everybody and bringing them home. Let's talk about the other plot. That one is even dumber, but at least it's visually interesting. We return to the holoship to Saru and Dr. Hugh and Adira. She beamed down there too, apparently, even though I don't remember it. The holo projector has changed also her appearance. She looked like she passed out on a Kiss concert, and somebody started to draw dicks on her face, but then changed his mind and started to change it into a cat mask, and something even dumber happens. Her dead boyfriend appears as a Vulcan. So the holo projector can turn hallucinations and make them visible and able to interact with others. Well, of course, what else did you expect? So in this slightly more interesting plotline, they are actually attempting to create some character moments, and they almost manage to do it. The only thing is that they are doing what I usually call emotional manipulation. They made the Kelpian man-child basically retarded, sorry for saying it like that, and I don't use the word as an insult, but in the original medical meaning, and there is no real reason for it. They do it only so they trick us into feeling badly for him. I really don't like when they do things like this. It just feels morally wrong for me. But to be honest, this guy is there for the same reason as Adira and the transgender actor, whose name I do not remember and I don't care enough to try to look it up. Saru helps the boy grow up and face his fears. His holograms are slowly malfunctioning, and in the end they fail completely, and we see a recording of his mother dying. So if I understand it correctly, he has seen his mother die because of the radiation, so he yelled, and because he was genetically connected to dilithium, yes, that's a thing, apparently, and because the dilithium has a subspace component, yes, that's also a thing, all of the dilithium explodes, except for the dilithium which didn't explode on the planet, or it went inert and the starships exploded. Or something. I swear that it makes sense if you're a writer for Discovery. So to my surprise, Saru decides to stay with Su'Kal and help him grow up, and he says it like he wants him as a lover. Cool, so you take one of the few interesting characters on the show and kick him off the show. So how does the episode end? Michael talks to the Admiral, who we found out is not gay, but he has a wife and kids, they just don't live together, and he tells her that Saru wants her to become the captain, because this is how it works. Also, the Admiral agrees and turns Michael into a proper captain. I beg your pardon, why is a criminal, a mutineer, put in charge of the Discovery? During all of the series, we have seen her break every single rule and constantly get promoted for it. In the 3rd season we are told that she has changed, but she behaves exactly the same. She always breaks the rules, she even disobeys a direct order, and for the first time she actually got punished. She got demoted from first officer to science officer by Saru, and now the same Saru wants to promote her to captain? Why? But to be honest, he made Tilly his first officer, so his character has now brain damage or something. What I'm trying to say is that we have seen for 3 years that Michael Burnham is not capable of being a team member or a proper officer, and now she's a team leader, the captain. In all of the 3 new shows, we got the main heroes constantly being awful and are being rewarded for their actions. Do they hire some highly immoral people to write and produce them? I know that people who we refer to sometimes as SJWs like to think that they are the good guys, but I thought until now that deep inside they know they are evil, and they just pretend to be good people to get more power. But from what I'm seeing right now, and in all of the new shows produced by Hollywood, I start to believe that American entertainment has a much bigger problem than I originally thought. When highly immoral people are put in charge of entertainment and are attempting to teach somebody else about morals, we are all screwed. So they are dressed up in new uniforms, which for some reason remind me of communist China, but it's probably just a coincidence, and they fly to the sunset. And it ends with a quote from Gene Roddenberry, which has absolutely nothing to do with this episode, or the season, or the series. We don't know what the melody subplot was because it went nowhere. We don't know what the subplot with Book's species was because it went nowhere. And it doesn't end on a cliffhanger, but it feels like the ending of the whole series. Even the credit music is replaced by the theme from the original series. Is this supposed to be the ending of the whole series? A part of me hopes so. It took me 3 weeks to write this script. I repeat, it took me 3 weeks to write this script. I had to watch this episode 7 times. 7 times, and I still had a huge problem turning this script into something at least slightly entertaining. There is nothing in this episode, nothing amazing, nothing awful. It's just awfully dumb, the action is boring, nothing makes sense, the visual effects are a huge mess, and there is simply nothing memorable. They probably spent millions of dollars animating the turbolift fight sequence, and the only thing I was able to think about watching it was if I should change the hard disk in my laptop for an SSD or not. I usually talk about all of the negative things and all of the positive things, but the only positive emotion I felt during the 7 viewings was the hope that this was the end of the series. I can't remember one positive thing which I could say about this episode. Anyway, I am thinking about doing a proper, retrospective type of a video for every season so far, attempting to explain why I hate this show without being extremely emotional, but it will take some time. But the good thing is, I'm now allowed to watch some good Star Trek, so prepare yourself for my video about Sarek. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon. Stay tuned. Bye.